Every building that we're in is because somebody had to build it. The built environment is everything that we interact with. Unless you're out in the woods somewhere. And it's just natural, untouched waters. So a little bit about who I am. All right. When I found out how many of you were coming out here today, I understand, I see lots of folks, a lot of different high schools. I understand there's maybe 17 different high schools. And so you're all out here representing where you're from. Is that right? All right. See, I'm representing where I'm from. See, I wore my St. Louis Cardinals ball cap because I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I flew all the way out here last night to see you guys, and I'm definitely representing St. Louis. That's what it's about. I see lots of y'all have yours on. Oh, you don't like it? It's all right. Everybody has their own opinion. So what I'd like to say is this. Let me start off by just telling you a little bit about myself. I figure, you guys are in high school. I'll start off there for you, for example. I didn't just end up here. You heard all this stuff about me in the bio that I teach at Washington University. I teach construction management there. Also, I'm the president of a company called Contractors. We do labor, quality management, project management services in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm involved in a lot of different things within AGC. I'm a national committee. I do a lot of different things in terms of construction and education enrichment and diversity. The things, that's where I'm at right now. But that's not where I began. Now, I went to school in Chesterfield, Missouri, which is a pretty affluent area, and similar to Riverside, California, where we are. And the thing that's different about it is I didn't come from that area. I was a part of the D-State program in the school. I lived in the inner city of St. Louis, and it was like night and day for me going to school. Here I am riding the bus about 30 miles to get to school every day, and I'm going to school with folks that have a very different life than my life. When I got home, I had to deal with gangs at the street, people selling drugs. In fact, my senior year of high school, I lost 3 of my best friends to random gun violence. So these are things that happen. These are things that happen in my life. On top of that, my dad died right in the middle of my senior year. So here I'm dealing with the issues of my neighborhood that I grew up in, my desire to grow, my desire to do well in school, and my sanctuary, what I found was my sanctuary, was sports. So if anybody didn't notice, I used to play sports. I was a wide receiver, I was the fastest guy on my team, and I love to run. Y'all believe that, right? No. I was a right tackle. I played left and right tackle. I was an offensive lineman. So I hope you don't believe I was a wide receiver, because I've been the world's biggest wide receiver in the world. But what I did find out is I was really good at sports. And part of that is, like I said, I had a weird upbringing. I'm from Georgia originally, but I grew up most of my life in St. Louis. Part of my high school, I actually played at Valdosta High School. Anybody ever heard of that school before? Valdosta, Georgia, that's right. Titletown, USA. That's right, let me break it down. At my high school, when I was a sophomore in high school, we won the national football championship in football. So here I am playing football in Valdosta, ended up moving back to St. Louis, finishing school in St. Louis. I ended up getting all-state, all-metro, all those types of things. I got recruited by a lot of different colleges. And at the time, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had issues, my friends got killed, my dad found out he's dying throughout high school, and I'm sure a lot of y'all in this room have similar issues, not necessarily the same issue, but everybody in this room has similar concerns that they're dealing with in their lives. Is that true or not? Now, I know, even though you're young, and a lot of times people don't realize that, you guys have a lot of things to deal with as well as young people. And you carry it very well, because you guys are the future leaders of our industry, you're the future leaders of America. So one of the things I want to say to you is this. At that point, I had things I had to realize I needed to improve upon. There were things that I needed to go to. I knew there was never a doubt that I was going to go to college because I love football. So if I'm going to play more football, I'm going to have to go to school. And if I'm going to go to school, then I'm going to have to push to get to where I'm going to go. So I had dreams of going to the NFL. I wanted to play professional ball. Didn't necessarily get all the way there, but I'm going to tell you about that because I did get a chance to play professionally for a point. So when I got out of school, I didn't have a big degree at the time. I barely got through high school, but I had all kinds of scholarship opportunities. But I had a support system. I had a family. My mother loved me. She took good care of me. I had a coach that recruited me into college. And when I went off to school my freshman year, I carried a lot of burdens on me. So what I did is I went down there. I didn't do necessarily what I needed to do. And then that was my first lesson that I'm trying to drop with you. is that if you don't take care of business, if you don't take care of your responsibilities, sometimes you might fall down. So that's the first point I'm trying to let you know. So I fell down. Now, do you think I stayed down? How many of you in this room have fallen down before? Are you going to stay down? No. I hope not. So what I'm getting to the point is this. I walked through this path. I ended up playing sports. I like playing sports. I got through school. Things were hard, but I realized that there's still things you got to push for. So when I pushed and I pushed and I pushed, moving forward, I ended up coming home because I didn't do well in school that first year. So then I had to figure myself out. And I talked to this coach, and I'm like, Coach, well, help me out. What can I do? He says, well, son, I'm just tell you this straight out. You didn't take care of the business you need to take care of. If you're going to conduct business, you need to have all of your ducks in a row. You need to move forward with a plan. You need to move forward with intention. You need to move forward with action. So these are the things I want to share with you, because if you're going to move forward, if it's construction or if it's anywhere else in your career, you need to have these same principles down. So the thing that I'm trying to say to you is this. Standing up is just that, standing. Moving forward is an action. That means you need to move forward with intention. That means that the fundamental principles of my company are integrity, drive, and performance. When I talk about that, that means one, I need to be honest. I need to deal with people that are honest. Two, I need to have some drive. I need to have some passion. I need to move forward with intention. And if I get the opportunity, that means I need to perform. Now, do you believe there's countless opportunities out here in the world, right? Right? Are they all your opportunities? How? Well, I'm going to tell you this. Opportunity plus preparation equals success. So my philosophy is this. If you prepare, then you have more opportunity. Because the opportunities, there are countless opportunities. If you're prepared for those opportunities, then you can actually capitalize on those opportunities. And then, and only then, are those opportunities going to be yours. So when we move forward, we think about this here. Today, you are taking a very big step in preparing for your future opportunities. And that's something that's very important. So when I started thinking about this now, you say, how do we get into construction? How does all of this work out? Well, I ended up going home after my freshman year. I went through, took correspondence classes, did whatever I took to get my grades back up. Then the same coach that I dealt with the first time gave me an opportunity to go back to school again on a full scholarship. Only this time, I had a different attitude about it. I had motivation. I realized what I had lost from my mistakes before. So I went back to school on a football scholarship again at a different school in Kentucky. Did very well in school. Unfortunately, one thing happened. Playing in the football game, I tore my bicep. So I had to get 2 surgeries, reconstructive surgeries on my bicep. So here I am thinking like, oh man, my dreams are over once again. I'm not going to make it. I can't do it. I'm not going to succeed. Well, I ended up going home at that time. And I actually, in a lot of ways, I felt like I'd given up on my dreams. But one thing that happened in that time frame is I had 2 buddies that never went off to school. And in this time frame when they didn't go off to school, they actually were at home and they weren't really working. They had dropped out on us in my junior, senior year. But we were all very good friends from the neighborhood. So we were all roommates at the time. So one day, one of my friends comes to the house and he says, hey man, there's this program called the Construction Prep Center. And they're basically set up to introduce us into construction fields and we can get into the construction trades. And if I come out, you're going to make $25 an hour. And I'm like, really? I'm like, what's this, a 10-week program supposed to be? And I'm like, really? Now here I am, I'm unemployed, they're unemployed, we're sitting at home trying to figure out how we're going to live. So this was something that kind of appealed to me. Wouldn't that appeal to you if you're looking for opportunity? Yeah. Why? $25 an hour, that's what was appealing to me too at the time. So I went through this program, I went and talked to the executive director of the program, and I told him, hey, I want an opportunity. I went to a couple years of school, but I'm not in school right now, but can I go to this program too? Because with these 2 friends of mine, they said that they would help them get their GED, and then they would help them, move on through school. So what I had to do was, I made a deal with them. I said, if you finish, you go through this program, we'll all go through this program together. If you do well in this program, I'll help you get your GED, we're going to get out and we're going to make this money in construction. That was our goal. That's what we were talking about. So let me tell you what happened. 3 different situations. My first buddy, the one that actually brought it to me, said he wants to get into the program and so we're going to do it together. About 4 weeks in, he did just what he did before. He quit on himself, and on this time he quit on me. But there was 2 of us still in the program. So we tried to talk him out of it. We said, come on, man, let's not do this. Come on, you can stick with who we're in it together with. But he chose not to. So then the second friend, on the 7th week of a 9-month program, he quit as well. So here, I got 2 friends. Now I'm in the program by myself. Now I ended up finishing out of the program as the top student in the program at the time. And they're still my friends. And guess what? They still have not gone back and finished doing what they're doing because they have a pattern of not completing their goals. They're not setting plans, not following through, not moving with intention, not moving with drive, not moving with integrity. To me, I felt like the fact that I had committed to it was enough not to quit. So if we're in this together, then that means we need to go through this together, and we need to walk through this together, and we need to do it together. But they chose not to. And the reality is this. All of you in this room, when you get to where you're planning to go in life, some of your friends are going to be there with you, some of them not. But the thing is, if you're moving with intention, if you're moving with integrity, if you're moving with a direct goal, and you're walking it down, you might fall down, but that doesn't mean you can't get up. And that's the whole message that I'm trying to send you. So I came through the program, and I actually entered into the construction trades as a union laborer. So here I am, an individual, coming into the trades, I'm a laborer. So what do you think? Look at me, I'm a big guy. You know, construction sometimes has a tendency to be hard work. What do you think happened as a laborer? What do you think I did?
Gain muscle.
Huh?
Gain muscle.
I use my muscles for sure. I use my muscles, I use my legs, I use my back, and I use my head. Because you got to work, what do they say, work smarter, not harder sometimes. But the thing is yes, and when I was a laborer, there was a time where I dug a ditch in the basement of a building because they couldn't get an excavator down there. It was 10 feet deep, 60 feet wide, and 3.5 feet wide and 60 feet long by hand. And we had a conveyor where we had to scoop the dirt out and wheel it up out the window to get out the building. Now, that's an amazing picture. I took a picture of it a long time ago. I can't find it. I would have had it up here on the screen for you. But the thing is, I used to come home filthy every single day coming home from work. But the one thing that I knew that I had, it was just like football. I found out is I really felt fulfilled from the job that I did. I found out that it was something that I loved just as much as I love sports. Not necessarily saying digging a ditch was the most fun thing in my life. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that the experience of being part of something that's solid, being part of a beautiful structure like this building, for example, to be able to move forward and be part of one of the industries that is building our country to the strong state that it is today, was something that is valuable. So when you start thinking about what you want to do in life, think about the value of construction. Think about the opportunity of being part of something that when you walk out here 50 years from now, this building should still be standing here unless we had that earthquake or that tornado we were talking about. And then if they built it properly, then that means it should be able to withstand at least the normal storms that might come through. So when you think about this now, I'm working as a laborer, I'm working my way up, I'm looking through the sky, I'm looking to the stars. And I'm saying, wow, I see these guys in the office, they're working in the trailer. Now, wow, I'm making pretty decent money too. So what are they making? What are they doing? You know, they're the ones planning this job. You know, we're on multi-million-dollar job projects. We're working on these job sites. We're trying to figure out how can we do better. So I'm walking around here. I'm the low man on the totem pole at the time, and I'm figuring out how can I do better. So each and every one of you in this room need to think about how can you do better? What is it going to take? Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to persevere? Because like I said, it's not going to always be easy. But if you put in the work, you will get where you want to go. I'm a true testament to that. So out of the blue, the same coach, like I said, I stopped going to school twice. That same coach kept in touch with me. He always said, man, I see a lot of promise in you, man. I coach Reggie White. You remind me of him. That's what he used to tell me. So I'm like, wow, okay, coach. He calls me up. I'm working as a laborer one day. And he says, hey, Frank, there's a coach down in Albany State, in Albany, Georgia, that coach put me in Texas. I'm like, oh, really? Oh, that's great. Well, they're looking for somebody to play offensive line. Now, I'm like 24, about to be 25 years old at the time. I'm working in construction. I bought my first house. I'm like, hey, coach, I don't think that time is past for me. I don't think that's going to happen. Well, Frank, just look into it. Call the man. Talk to him. So I called them up, and they're like, hey, I hear a lot of good things about you. I heard you could play ball back in the day. So guess what they did? I said, well, look, I got a house, I got a job, I got things, I have responsibilities. I don't think I can go back to school and do anything at this point. I'm working in construction. And they're like, well, okay, but at least, why don't you come down and meet us? So they flew me to Tallahassee, Florida from St. Louis, and then they picked me up because it was about an hour and 15 minutes. That was the nearest airport to where we were in Georgia. So they flew me, I went down there and met with the coaches. You know, I'm working in the construction, I'm doing hard work, so you think I ever lost my shape at the time. I was pretty fit at the moment. I'm not the same guy anymore, I'm just going to tell you right now. So they're like, yeah, we want you to come play for us. And we're willing to give you a full scholarship off of his work. So here I've been working in construction for like 4 years at the point, hadn't been playing ball, hadn't been training, but I'm getting a full ride scholarship for a third time. Only this time, I'm sitting here like, okay, if I do this, first I went back to my boss and I talked to my boss. I was like, hey, I got this opportunity. I might be needing to leave in about 2 weeks. This is like July and they're getting ready for camp. And I'm like, I might be having to quit my job in a couple weeks. He's like, why? What's going on? Well, I got this call from this coach and they want to give me a scholarship to go back to school and play football. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that or not. I don't want to let you guys down. You know, I value my job. And guess what he told me? He says, Frank, that's awesome. In fact, construction's going to be here, and you're going to have a job when you get back. So I will support you in doing this. So what I do is I take the scholarship and say, all right, they made it a lot easier. I still got my job. So I called him back. I went off to school, and only this time I made a promise to myself that I wasn't going to let myself down again. So I said, hey, if I go back to school this time, I'm going to perform. I'm going to get top scores. I'm not going to come back without my degree. I've been to school twice and I didn't do what I needed to do because it's no one else's responsibility. Like the example that I had about my 3 friends that went through the program. It is no one else's responsibility for you to complete something except for yourself. So if you're not committed, no one else can be committed for you. So when I moved on forward through this, and I'm saying this, what the whole message I'm trying to share with you is this. I went back to school, ended up graduating with honors, ended up being an all-conference athlete, even ended up getting a chance to play professionally for the Georgia Force in Atlanta, Georgia. And so all of this stuff, where I get this from. So you think when I got to this point I was done? No. What I realized is that now I got my degree, so I want to do more in construction. Because I already know what I love, so I already know what I need to do. So what I did is I actually went off, I moved forward, came back home, I worked, I pushed, and worked some more. And what I found out is, let me go get my master's degree. I got a master's degree at Washington University, where I teach now. And at the time, I didn't think I could go there. In the past, I didn't have the grace to try to go there. So now I'm doing this on a day-to-day basis. I'm sharing the same message about how important it is, how valuable it is, and how much I love construction. So when I move forward now, I say, you know, I worked through a company. I worked at some large design build contractors, worked for some billion-dollar-a-year companies. And I said, I'm at that same crossroads again, just like when I was a laborer. Wow, how can I get to that? How can I do that? But at this point, I already have set the stage for myself. I know what I need to do. I just need to do it again. Do it again in a different light. So when I say this to you all, right now you're in high school. You need to push forward to get to where you're trying to go. When you get to where this first level, you realize there's another level. When you get to that level, if you do the same things that work for you and get rid of the things that don't work for you, you're going to succeed and you're going to achieve them. Well, what I'm trying to say to you is this. Construction is an awesome industry. I've worked for the last 15 years in this industry, and I can tell you there's great reward, there's great benefit in it, there's great opportunity in it. I get just as excited as I do before a football game back in the day as I do when I get an opportunity to speak to you guys today. I'm just as excited today as if I'm in the locker room getting ready for game time. When I go out on a big construction site, on a big construction project, I get just as excited again because I realize this, even though I didn't make it to the, I made it to the Arena Football League. I didn't make it to the NFL, but I made construction my NFL. So the whole idea is this: whatever that pie in the sky, whatever that high star dream that you got for yourselves, you got to set it in your mind and say, what is going to be your NFL? What is going to be your success story? How are you going to make it happen? How are you going to follow it through? Mine is construction. Now, after all you've heard from me, do you feel a little bit different about construction? Do you feel a little bit different about your path? Do you feel a little bit different about, or clearer about where you want to go? Anybody, raise your hand. If you feel that way, raise your hand. Now, together, everybody join me, Big Frank, in saying, I love construction. I love construction. If you love construction, then I love you. Thank you very much. Come on, give it a big.